Please leave a message after the tone. All I got is missed calls on my line, yeah. Never seen a pick up right on time, yeah. If I don't call back, leave me alone. Please leave a message at the tone. All I got is missed calls.
What's up, guys? Welcome into episode 121 of the Missed Call Podcast. This is Cubwood, and as always, I'm here with Sauce Sartori. And yeah, we still do these. We still do these sad news podcasts that we actually love to do, but I don't know if you like listening.
This isn't sad.
I'm kidding.
This is pitiful. No,
this is atrocious.
We're getting back on our schedule. This is a vow to our listeners that we promise that we're getting back to it. We're going to be doing news podcasts on Tuesdays. We're going to be doing interview podcasts on Thursdays or Fridays. And then you'll also be hearing from us on our Instagram. We do Instagram lives every Friday and every Monday. Fridays, we'll talk about our bets for the weekend. Mondays, we recap what we did over the weekend. Essentially, did we win? Did we lose? How bad were we? Many times the how bad were we is a lot longer of a segment than here's what we have this weekend. So be on the lookout for all of that stuff. And of course, all of our collaboration stuff that we have with Boston Media that we have signed a deal with and that we are presented by. And make sure that you go follow Boston Media at BUSTEM Media. That's Boston Media. You can also follow us on all of our social medias at Call Podcast. But let's go ahead and get into it, Cub. We're going to start it the same way that we always start it, but we have new and improved segments on the back half of this podcast. So make sure that you stick around because I think that we've got some absolute bangers to end the show. We're introducing a new segment called Struggle Bus Fake Taxi. And we'll go over all of that once.
And no, it's not porn. It's not porn.
It's not porn, we promise. But we'll go over all of that once we get there. But for right now, let's jump into it. The best things we saw this week. Cub, I'll go first because I was really excited to get into the broadcast booth. Finally, North Central Baseball they were doing like an inter-squad World Series, if you will, like a fall classic, essentially. And they wanted the radio crew to be there. There were multiple scouts and things listening to see how certain players were going to perform. I know former guest of the show, Charlie Clem, had a bunch of people looking at him. The Giants. The Giants have reached out to him, the Rays, the Yankees, the Dodgers. Those are all teams that are interested in looking at our former guest, Charlie Clem. But it was really, really nice to get into the booth, do the things that I love to do. I love doing play-by-play. I love doing podcasting. But more so than that, I love doing play-by-play. And it was awesome to finally get back in that groove.
What's your home run call?
I'm still working on that.
What do you got so far?
I've only been in attendance for one North Central home run, so I don't have one yet. The one that I do when I'm sitting on my couch is a lot different than what I can do in the booth because from my couch I'm like, oh, and he deep dicks that one to left center field, going back, Aaron Hernandez, gone forever.
Knowing you, I know if you're in the stands, you're just in your head going,
on the other side of that, I'm broadcasting from home. This is a Tuesday. I should be at school. I'm not for this reason. Somebody in my close circle has not gotten the cocoa, but instead has cocoa-related symptoms. And for that reason, I've been sent home. Why this is part of one of the best things of my week is that essentially we're going to be getting paid from the school because somebody in my close circle got the cocoa or has displayed symptoms of the cocoa. How does that work, Cub?
We bringing in that dough, baby.
Yeah, we getting that money.
That money. Show me the money.
Yes. We'll leave it there. So those are the two things this week that I think are the best things that I've seen or experienced. Cub, go ahead and tell us about yours.
This one just popped into my head. We are in the process of making merch, and I've been dying to do this since the very beginning. And the funny thing is, we have
hell of a plug, by the way, to just be like, best thing I saw this week is the merch that we're getting ready to release.
it's making me excited. This is adult things we're doing. We're becoming adults. This is our business. Like since the beginning, we've had friends that have surely come up to you, come up to me, or tweeted at us like, "Where's the merch? Like, we'll buy something." But then like I'm like how many other people really want to buy our crap? And then I messaged people. We posted stuff out. 37 people are interested. I didn't even know we had 37 fans, but I guess we do. We'll subtract a few because family doesn't count.
Right.
So we're at 12.
That's true.
So currently we have 12 fans.
Let's call it 30 even. But yeah, no, an overwhelming outpouring of support for some of the things that we have on the horizon. So we definitely appreciate everybody listening and everybody who supports the brand.
These are going to be Chef's Kiss hoodies. Like the quality of these, we saw it. Grit Clothing is going to do a hell of a job when we set this all up. But I'll post out the prototype when we get it. As of right now, we're just working on the logo, adjusting things. It's none of your business.
Well, and a shout out to Grit Clothing Co. too. If you want to see some more of their stuff, or maybe look at the quality and decide if you want to buy one of our sweatshirts when that time comes, you can go and follow them at Instagram. They are at Grit Clothing Co. _ between all the words.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Sauce, let's grind your gears.
Grinding my gears. Okay, so we've been doing much more sports gambling, sports betting recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I've been gambling on in the past week and a half or so has been the World Series. Putting together some crazy parlays, hoping that they hit. One night this week, I believe it was for Game 2, I had 2 parlays set up. If they both would have hit, I would have ended up with $12,000.
Congrats.
And I was only a few legs away from hitting both of those. But the thing that has come back to bite me in the ass the most in these parlays, and the thing that's grinding my gears the most, is the first inning outcome. I've been stuck on this, and I don't know why. I've been stuck on the first inning outcome being a draw. Like just 0-0, or literally we could do 1-1, we could do 2-2. Fuck it, we could do 10-10 as long as it ends in a draw, and it doesn't happen. And it fucks my parlay at the beginning of every game. And then I see all the other things just start lighting up. Bing, 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 right? All the way down the parlay. But I'm like, oh, this doesn't matter because in the first inning, the Dodgers deep-dicked one to left center field. So that's what's grinding my gears, is the first inning outcome of all of these games has just been fucking me up.
That's like predicting the first touchdown score.
I would say that's harder.
I did it on Thursday.
Did you?
I did a Carson Wentz,
yeah. Was it Wentz? Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing about it too, dude, is like, I feel like that's harder. Predicting who's going to be the first guy to score a touchdown is harder. So
I mean, you can get a good idea. You have the position. You'd be like, okay, running back, if anything.
But there are so many different options that you can go with for first touchdown score. For baseball, first inning outcome, you've got this team won it, draw, or this team won it. And so, I mean, how many times have we seen a game end in 0-0 in the first inning?
Almost every time.
A lot of times. Almost all the time. And this World Series has just been like, fuck you, dude.
All right, is it my turn?
I guess.
All right, so what's grinding my gears is it hit me this morning. I need normalcy more than I ever thought, because I'm being more self-conscious about myself more than I have ever in like the last, I'd say, years or so. Yesterday I got out of the shower and I think I'm balding, Sauce. I thought I was balding.
Welcome to the club.
I saw my scalp and I called my dad this morning. I'm like, hey, am I going bald? My dad was like, hold on, let me clear out the office to let him know that my son's going bald. You good?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how the mirror works on this camera. I'm trying to show everybody my hairline in the video.
Did you hear what I said about my dad?
What did Phil say precisely?
I called Phil. I'm like, hey, I think I'm going bald. He goes, hold on, everyone. My son thinks he's going bald. I'm going to take this call.
Welcome to the club, man.
He goes, you're not going bald. You have the thickest hair in the family, thicker hair than I do. I go, but Amy, my mom, her dad is bald on the top. And he goes, you're fine. I go, are you sure? I go, well, now I'm also self-conscious about my teeth because they look worse than yours, Phil. He goes, and then his other coworkers in the room, he goes, do you see how lovely my son is in the morning? How nice he just talks to me. This is the sweetest he's ever been in weeks.
Yeah, no, the feeling of losing your hair is not a good feeling.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe
yeah, you're a fucking lunatic, dude. You just pulled your head off. You pulled your hat off, and it looks like.
Like
Where do you see that? Where do you see going bald in that?
I think it's the light in my bathroom so bright that it like just shows my scalp, and I'm
Jesus
like, oh my god.
Christ.
All right, so that's what's grinding my gears. Just my insecurities. But I have a that ain't it, Chief, and my dad also has a take on this one as well. Did you see? Obviously, I know you did, but did you guys see Jameis Winston on Sunday walking around like he's a dog with shoes on?
Yeah, go ahead and explain the video for people who haven't seen it.
So Jameis Winston is in their end zone with the football in his hand, backstepping on his heels, and he's like doing high knees with his heels.
Essentially, he's warming up, like doing like quarterback warm-ups, trying to get his hips right, trying to get his footwork right in case he is thrown into the game. But it's similar to what we saw last year with Dak Prescott and doing the hip twitching. You know what I mean?
But this is worse. He looks stupid. I showed my dad the video. My dad goes, "Cut him."
Well, wasn't he doing something last year too that everybody was like, "What the fuck?"
It was his workouts.
Yeah. What was he doing?
Remember he said he couldn't see stop signs.
Yeah, remember when he got was it eye surgery this past off season because he couldn't see some defenders on the field?
What was the work? It was something with like weights, but like he was with the football. Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts now.
Fuck.
Bad radio.
This is awful radio. I'm trying to look it up.
And then someone said something to him and was like, "Hey, man, you need to get new trainers." And he said, "These been my boys since day one."
Well, if you're listening to this episode and you know what the Jameis workout is that we're talking about, it was like last year, and he was talking about some crazy shit that he does to work out and be prepared for football. If you know what it is, make sure you hit us up on social media and tell us what it was, because it's going to be killing us all day. We'll keep moving. That is a really good that ain't it, Chief. I don't play football. I don't play the quarterback position, but that looked pretty dumb.
That was like working his like shins. It's like a shin workout.
It just looked stupid. Now, before we move on to the meat and potatoes of the show, I have a really quick random thought for you. Oh. When you think about water, just think about water. What temperature is it?
Am I drinking it or am I getting into it?
Just think about water. What temperature is it?
45 degrees.
Just above freezing?
No. That's cold. I'm sorry. I forget that water temp and normal temp is different. Like 60 degrees.
Okay. Because the thing that sparked this in my head was the other day I was washing my hands, and when I turned the water on, it was perfect temperature for washing your hands. Not burn your skin off.
In the middle?
Yeah, not ice cold. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted when I turned the water on. And I was like, what was I expecting? Like what temperature do you think of when you think about water? Now for me, like I think 60 is a decent number, maybe like 70 is a decent number, like warm but not cold.
Do you know what I take pride in? When people come over to my place or any of like at my houses and they go, "You have the best water." That's what I take pride in.
Any of my houses?
Like when I lived at home, everyone loved my water. Like one of my friends would come over and be like, "Hold on, I gotta get a glass of water."
We got that big podcasting money now, baby. Whenever
my bread is always cold.
One of my houses. Now, when we're talking, we can make this into different categories. If I'm thinking about a pool, ideally, I would like that pool
70.
to be around 75, 80 degrees. I want that thing to be like almost bath water.
If I'm drinking it, I want that to be as cold as possible.
Right. Like I'm talking just above freezing. When you said 40 degrees, that's what I'm thinking about when I think about water
I'm talking about
to drink.
I'm talking about some high quality H2O.
Now, again, washing my hands, I think it's like 60, 65, maybe 70 degrees. Like just not hot, but warm.
But if for showers, if you're with your girlfriend, it's gonna be 125. Just stay facts.
Gee, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never got the whole like women like really hot showers because to me, I like really hot showers.
Yeah, mine's like almost to the point where I'd be scalding myself.
I like when I come out of the shower and Nikki looks at me and she's like,
You're red.
"Is your skin okay?" I like that. Lose the first layer of skin. That's how you kill all the germs.
Basically, you're boiling yourself. It's like killing all the you're killing the bacteria.
Bingo. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's jump into it. Week 7 in the NFL. Lots to talk about. First up, let's talk about Sunday Night Football. Cardinals, Seahawks, an NFC West championship. I misspoke, but this could be an NFC championship type game. But NFC West, big game in that division. This could be the game of the year.
It could. The crazy thing about that conference, everyone could possibly make the playoffs this year in that whole conference.
Yeah.
That's
With
scary.
the way that the wild cards and things are shaking out the expanded playoff format.
Now that game,
it was great.
I love that matchup so much. Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson. My biggest question right off the bat to you is, did this game hurt Russell Wilson's chances at MVP?
I don't think so.
I agree 100% because it wasn't the same as Aaron Rodgers last week. Like Aaron Rodgers, not MVP anymore. Not MVP after last week's performance.
I think Aaron Rodgers is still going to be in the conversation, but if it comes down to it and like the rest of the season, Wilson and Rodgers are playing like they started the season, that one game for Rodgers could be the biggest difference between the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't think that this game impacts MVP race at all. I think Russ had a good game. I think what showed through the most for the Seahawks was how inept their defense is. Their defense is really, really bad.
It's been bad. It's been mediocre, but then the offense takes care of everything for the last few years.
Their defense is so bad that they have a dude with one hand playing defense.
No, they cut him.
Did they really? There goes my joke.
They cut him. I'm a big what is it? I always get the brothers mixed up. It's the Griffin brothers.
So if they cut him, is that ableist?
Moving on. Moving on. Kyler Murray showed up and showed out too.
Kyler Murray, I think, had the best game of his career on Sunday night.
And what pissed me off about how well Kyler played was Oklahoma put out a graphic of Baker and Kyler and like two quarterbacks that had good comebacks. Shut the hell up. One guy had a comeback against the goddamn Bengals. The other one had a comeback against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks.
Well, if you think about it, though, the defenses, think about the two defenses. Are they that much different?
You know what I'm getting at, though.
I do, but I also challenge you to think about Cincinnati's defense, think about Seattle's defense, and then tell me, is there that much of a difference?
What's the more impressive win?
The more impressive win is beating the Seahawks.
That's my argument.
And that's fine. But now I'm asking you to think about those two defense.
The Seahawks defense is better.
Is it?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't have any statistics to back it up.
Neither do I.
But I'm just the eye test. I don't know that there's much difference between the two. So maybe that comparison of those comebacks is warranted. If you really break it down and you think about it.
I get why they put it out, but I didn't like
it. Of course, the Seahawks are a better overall team. Of course, they have a better offense. They have a better quarterback. They have a better coach, right? The Seahawks are the better team. But if you compare those defenses again, maybe that post wasn't wrong. Just a thought. Now, this game also gave us one of the newest, probably one of going to be the most long-lasting memes in internet history.
Check out our page. Check out our
yeah,
page.
with DK Metcalf chasing down Budda Baker off of what should have been a pick six, but DK Metcalf covers 114 yards, chases down Budda Baker, and gets the tackle. It was a tremendous meme moment. It was a memeable moment, but at the same time, it's one of the most tremendous feats of athleticism that we've maybe ever seen on a football field.
Verbal meme, that police officer running from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
That's what DK looked like. It was crazy. I mean, the interception was bad. The interception was a loft to the flat to one of the running backs on the Seahawks roster. Budda Baker hawked that ball. It was a lob pass. Like, there should have been a little bit more oomph behind it, but there wasn't. Lob pass over there. Baker intercepts it. He's got a wide open sideline, nobody in sight. But here comes DK, chases him down again, 114 yards covered by Metcalf, chases him down for the tackle. It was insane.
He was running like Reggie Jackson after they won the World Series, just running through the crowd.
Yeah. Well, and two, like, if you watch that replay, he was so fast that additional Cardinal defenders that were trying to block him mistimed where he was. Like, somebody tried to throw like a cut block on him, and they threw it, and they were well behind him by the time that he had already run past. Like, they were mistiming how quick he was, trying to block him.
I love that it's a new meme now, like the Sunday Scaries, me. Now, I need to know, I haven't talked to you since I made the one of you. What were your thoughts?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it enough that I showed other people.
Oh.
It was good. It was a good Cub moment.
I had to make one for myself, too. I think mine was pretty decent.
Yes, it was. It was a good Cub moment. You did a good job. See, positive reinforcement. I'm doing better.
Thank you.
So the outcome of this game kind of makes me think. It makes me think, who's actually good in the NFL? Because, being honest, look around. You've got the Chiefs, who, of course, are going to be good. They've got the best offense in football, and they've got an all-right defense to back it up. I think the Steelers you have to mention as a really good team, right? They're undefeated, so that must mean something. They beat the Titans this past weekend. They are a good football team, and so that means something. The Steelers are playing good football. They're beating good football teams. Outside of those two teams, are there other good NFL teams right now? Because to me, it really seems like if you find a team with a good record, there's a big hole behind it. Again, we talk about the Seahawks, great offense, bad defense. The Bears, great defense, bad offense. I mean, abysmal offense. We'll get to that in a second, though.
I'm trying to think of teams, to be honest. I'm just looking at
you could look at the Titans. I think the Titans have they have just a good enough offense and just a good enough defense on both sides of the ball to be where they're at, right?
I think we're at that point where it's like we're at the point in the season where it's like, give me 2 more weeks and I'll have that answer for you.
But, like, okay, so let's go over it real quick. You know, we've got the Bills 5-2.
Overrated.
Good offense, okay-ish offense, you could even say. Not so great defense, which is crazy to think about because they've been predicated on defense for a long time. The Steelers 6-0. We've already said
best defense in the league.
I think we can both agree that's a good team.
They're shockingly good.
I'm going to go over teams that have a 5-win record right now.
Go ahead.
Right? So you're right. Steelers best defense in the league, 100%. The Ravens 5-1. Great defense. That offense is highly questionable.
Very questionable.
The Browns 5-2.
Get the hell out of here.
Right. That seems like a paper tiger in and of itself. Titans 5-1. I've already said I think that they have a team that they're playing in a bad division. The Texans and Jaguars are 1-6, right? So that's 2 automatic wins you would hope. And I think that they have a team that's just good enough offensively and just good enough defensively to kind of mask everything else that might be wrong with them.
I'm just going to throw – let me get your top 5 best teams in the league right now. Like top
That's tough. I would
Uh,
say it's Chiefs and Steelers.
yes,
I think even though their defense is so bad, the Seahawks are up there.
100%.
I think the Packers are legit. And it's tough after that. Like the fifth team is like, to me, who do you throw in there?
Bucks.
It's hard to say, but it's hard to say the Bucks.
It's the defense, dude. I'm telling you.
There have been times when their offense looks really, really good. There have been times when the defense or the offense looks really bad. The defense seems to be their saving grace. I think the Buccaneers are what the Bears hope to be.
It's what they
Right?
wish they could be.
Right. The very consistent defense, not much gets past them. And then you have an offense that can win you games, but can also just do well enough to get by. Does that make sense?
Question for you then. Who's
like the
coming
offense isn't losing games for the Buccaneers is the way that I'll say it. And then your question.
Yeah, 100%. This is probably a more fun question. Who's coming out of the NFC East?
That's fun because if you look at that, Eagles are 2-4-1. The Washington football team is 2-5. The Cowboys are 2-5, and the Giants are 1-6. Now, as we continue to progress through this season, the Cowboys are going to continue to sink lower and lower. They might even finish in the worst 5 records in the league because Andy Dalton done for the foreseeable future with a pretty nasty concussion. John Bostic with I would call it a nasty hit on Andy Dalton this past weekend. Obviously, Dak Prescott's done for the rest of the year, so they are on to their third string quarterback, which
King Dago.
Yeah, King. What was his last name?
It's like,
is it just literally the back of his jersey just says K. Dago. King Dago.
You saw U, C's, and some I's. He's a Dago. It's like Diminucci or something.
Yeah, you go.
I made that up. So
if you had to pick a team, I think it's the Eagles.
I'm going with the football team.
I'm also not afraid to say the football team was the next sentence coming out of my mouth. I mean, so again, like just to kind of loop back and answer this question, is anybody actually good? I think the two teams we mentioned, the Chiefs and Steelers, are good. But after that, it's really hard to commit to say anybody's like a Super Bowl contender because that defense for the Seahawks is going to get them in trouble. And then the Packers, I just don't know that they have enough firepower on offense. You know, they've got Devontae Adams back, which is nice. Aaron Jones seems to be a top running back in the league this year. And then Aaron Rodgers is just a bad man all the way around. I just don't know.
A good comparison to the NFL is how college basketball was last year. Someone was first and ranked number 1, then they lose and then move down. Someone else would come up, then they lose and come back down. You don't know. You don't know.
You would just hope that wouldn't happen at the professional level.
Yeah.
But again, it's a weird season. There was no preseason. A lot of teams have struggled getting off the ground to start this year, and that continues to show. A couple of other things to get to from Week 7. We talk about the NFC East. I've got a kind of spin zone-y take, right?
Let's hear it.
Now we know the Cowboys, Jerry Jones in particular, doesn't seem like he wants to shell out money for Dak Prescott.
Oh, but now he is since he got injured.
Well, yeah, that seems to be what he's saying to the media, right? What do you think about the Cowboys tanking for Trevor? Is that something they're actively doing? Tanking for Trevor Lawrence, I mean.
Jerry's I'm gonna just side with you 1,000% because that makes a whole bunch of sense.
It makes absolutely no sense, but it makes a ton of sense if you're Jerry Jones.
That's what I'm saying. That's why
he
I said it makes
refuses
sense.
to draft defensive players in the first round of the draft. And so why now would he all of a sudden start to address the issues on his roster instead of just compounding the issue by drafting another offensive talent in the first round? It seems that it makes so little sense that it makes so much sense.
No, I was putting myself in the mind of Jerry Jones, and
Scary to say the least.
And after I crapped in my diaper, I realized that's a great thought.
Yeah. So I think that's something they're actively doing. Also, moment of silence. Atlanta, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything that's happening to you right now. I'm going to hit pause on the music.
If you donate $1, you could help a sad Atlanta Falcons fan.
It's so bad. Like,
oh, I can't
okay,
score.
Right. If you Todd Gurley actively trying to not score a touchdown and still scoring a touchdown is like, it feels like the epitome of Atlanta sports, of Atlanta football at least, right? Like, success is actually failure. Like, getting the touchdown is actually a failure because then the Lions have enough time to march down the field, and as time expires, Matthew Stafford, T.J. Hawkinson, touchdown.
What's more funny? Todd Gurley trying to not score, or Jameis Winston doing the warm-up?
Oh, that's tough. I think with the context, it's got to be Gurley trying to actively not score a touchdown, because like he bulldozed 2 defenders and then was like, oh shit, and then he was in the end zone.
What's the point of bulldozing them?
That's what I'm saying. Why not just go down? Why not just go down?
Idiot.
Or if you're really trying to not score, just fucking kneel the ball. If you're actively trying to not score, kneel.
Who's calling their plays? Dan Quinn's gone. Who the hell? I didn't know Dan Quinn was still calling the plays.
I don't know who it is down there, but Atlanta, here at the Missed Call Podcast, we are so sorry.
This is a Atlanta Falcons Relief Fund podcast.
Yeah. And then, the last thing that we have to get to for Week 7 is the cap, if you will, the Week 7 nightcap. Bears, Rams, Monday Night Football. We all thought it would be a joke. It was a joke, but for the Bears, not for the Rams. Great defensive effort, I thought. I mean, the Bears defense really looked like they were trying. They were flying around. They were contending with a Rams offense that was out to prove a point after losing to the 49ers last week. And I thought the Rams offense looked good. The Bears defense looked better. The problem is the Bears offense couldn't get a goddamn thing moving.
The Bears offense got screwed by the Rams kicker the whole game.
The punter?
My bad. The punter, yeah.
The watermelon kick.
He put them inside the 10, 3 times in a row?
It was 3 or 4 times he had a punt inside the 20 , which is that's the statistic you'd look at, inside the 20.
He was inside I know it's inside the 20, but I was just saying they were in their own end zone like 3 drives in a row. And then they're like, oh, it's Nick Foles. He can't get anything going. He has no time to throw.
Well, I mean, it's a domino effect. So you talk about the punts. Let's go over that real quick. I was really, really critical of the broadcast last night because, again, I think ESPN has completely struck out with Levy and Riddick and Brian Greasy as the 3-man booth. I think it's bad. Again, there was one point last night where Cole Kmet made that snag catch he mossed the DB, and then Theo Riddick said, or is it's Lewis Riddick, right?
Probably.
I think, and Theo Riddick is the actual football player. So Lewis Riddick says, oh, this is a guy for the Bears that's been making a lot of plays recently. I was like, well, coming into tonight's game, he had like 4 catches, Lewis. So no, he's not. And then the punter starts going off. Johnny Hecker starts just absolutely taking the game over as a punter. And they're like, yeah, it's really interesting how he holds the ball. He'll get the snap, and then he holds it like a watermelon, and then he kicks the side of it. And I looked at everybody in the living room that was watching the game with me, and I'm like, hey, how the fuck do you hold a watermelon? Is there a specific way that I'm not aware of how you hold a watermelon? And I guess it's just you hold the watermelon like this. Like if you're watching the video, this is how you hold a watermelon. Right here. You know what I mean? You can't like carry it under your arm. You can't do anything like that. You have to hold the watermelon like this, which was dumb. But then advancing from just to talk about the broadcast, Hecker had a hell of a night. Hecker had a heck of a night. And
Special teams player of the week, 100%.
100%. Ted Ginn Jr., the return man. I put that in quotations. The return man for the Bears.
Where you at?
He watched the ball all night. I've never seen anything like that where he was just so unenthused about playing the game. He wouldn't even attempt to catch the ball.
He's old. He's just
it doesn't matter. You're playing football. You're getting paid to play football. Catch the fucking ball and try to make something happen. I don't mean to sound like a hardo, but like that was so crazy to me. And then if you want to go and look at the other phases of the game, okay, we talk about, you talk about like people being critical of Nick Foles, but he has no time to throw the ball. Let's talk about the offensive line looked like fucking Swiss cheese last night.
Where's Ted Larson? Where is Ted Larson?
Again, I mean, and we can continue our campaign of hashtag sign Ted Larson because the Bears are fucking cowards. Sign Ted Larson, please.
Like
fucking cowards.
Let me get on this.
Go ahead.
I just want to say they are the hardest winning team to watch in football right now.
100%.
I as a fan, I love watching the Bears. I love when it's Bears football time. Game starts, I'm like, I wish something else was on. I hate it. It's so bad. And then Nagy has to, was it last week he said that they're 5-2 17 times within like 10 minutes? Nagy, I don't give a crap what the record is. The numbers you are putting up are not going to withstand a winning record at the end of the year. The team sucks. You can't score. Your team can't score. The offense didn't put up any points yesterday. The special teams did and the defense did. The offense didn't put up anything. It was terrible. It was atrocious. And then on top of that, we get that little nugget of that little clip, or not the quote from Nick Foles saying that Nagy doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
We were talking to Nick Foles yesterday, and he said, sometimes play calls come in, and I know that I don't have time to execute that play call. And, I'm the one out here getting hit. And sometimes the guy calling the plays, Matt Nagy, he doesn't know how much time there is back here. And so that's something that they have to get worked out.
That was crazy. It was crazy that leaked out. I believe it was Riddick, again, that was saying he had talked to Foles, and Foles essentially had said sometimes Nagy calls plays, and he calls them without realizing how fast things are moving out here. He'll call a play down the field that I don't have time to do because the offensive line in front of me does not give me time. Do you know how damning that is?
How does he not know this stuff?
Matt Nagy's your play caller.
I know. How do you see?
If you're gonna be the play caller, you have to understand everything that's happening. So how in the actual fuck are you going to send a quarterback out there that is supposed to be somebody who knows the offense, right? Knows the offense, knows how to control the offense, knows how to work it, etc. You're going to send him out there. You're going to set him up for success. And then we saw, was it last week or 2 weeks ago when they're playing the Buccaneers, Nagy walks up to him. He's like, what the hell are you doing? And we saw that whole back and forth with Foles being like, I don't care. Like, I'm running the offense, right? It seems to have bubbled up to this point where Foles has been playing starting quarterback since week 3. So we've had 4 games of Nick Foles, and he's already going to the media and saying sometimes Nagy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Is to boil that quote down to the nuts and bolts. He's saying sometimes Nagy has no idea what he's doing.
And it shows when he does these cutesy little plays. Oh, let me throw a pitch to my wide receiver on 4th down. Run it up the goddamn middle with David Montgomery.
That's what I'm saying. Well, and I think you're talking about that 4th down play.
Yes.
It was
you challenged to get the fourth. You challenged to get the closer to the marker with that catch that Anthony Miller had, that one-handed unbelievable catch, and then you screw it up because you call this dumb play that the defense knew was coming. And let me get on this. Like, Nagy's known for being a trick play caller. But then he calls these trick plays that are so blatantly obvious that the most novice fan knows are coming.
Yeah, well, and it's difficult to watch because the play that you're talking about was a Cordell Patterson handoff to the left
Wasn't even
side.
a handoff, it's a pitch.
Right. Well, and it's 4th and maybe 4.
Fourth and one.
Was it 4th and 1?
Fourth and
you
one.
give it to Patterson, and the lead blocker on the play is a practice squad wide receiver. Hello?
One more time.
Hello?
One more
you
time.
play to win the game. But it's just a lot of the stuff that they call is so mind-bending. And Cub, I asked the question on Twitter last night, like, at any point has Matt Nagy run a screenplay that was so wildly successful that it calls for more screenplays in this offense?
I enjoy screenplays, but don't call them.
I don't enjoy screenplays, especially on 3rd down when you have to pick up 8.
You know
right?
what would have been more Matt Nagy-esque on that 4th and 1? A dumbass jet sweep.
That's essentially what he did, though.
Actually, you're right, because it was to the wide receiver.
I think moving forward, just to kind of wrap up, I feel like Matt Nagy has to give up the play calling, give it to Bill Lazor, however the fuck you say his name. You got to give it up because it's not working. And I think it's really, really confusing when, like, you see at the beginning of the game, Cole Kmet has 2 great plays, and then we don't see from him for the rest of the game. We saw more Demetrius Harris dropping balls, like just catchable footballs, missing blocks, having a great night of football. We saw more of that from Demetrius Harris than we saw of our first overall pick in this year's draft. Like, doesn't make any sense.
This is how it goes with Cole Kmet. Makes a 40-yard catch. All right, kid, great play. Hit the showers.
Or, like, what about forgetting that he has a running back? Even Tariq Cohen on Twitter last night was like, somebody asked a question and was like, describe the first half of Bears football in 3 words. And he quote tweeted it and said, find running game, I think is what he said. Find running game. And it's like, yeah, Tariq, we see it too. Like, we're not stupid. Not all of us are stupid. We see that there's no run game there available. Last thing that I'll say to wrap this up, can you name 3 – this comes from my good friend Jack Coachman. Can you name 3 head coaches in the NFL that are worse than Matt Nagy?
I saw your tweet, and they're all fired.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dan Quinn, fired. Bill O'Brien, fired. Adam Gase still has a job, so we can say Adam Gase confidently. You could argue Matt Patricia.
But Matt Patricia's winning games.
He's winning some games. I believe the Lions are 2-5.
Oh, I thought they had a better record than that. Yeah, we'll go Matt. Matt Patricia's also a defensive-minded coach. He shouldn't be calling the plays. So Dan Patricia should be there.
Matt Patricia.
Not Dan. Matt
okay.
Patricia. I'm really trying to think who's a bad team.
I think the rest of them.
Cowboys.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy, you could throw in there. I think the verdict is still out, and you can't necessarily say he's a bad coach in Dallas yet because he only had X amount of games with Prescott before he was gone. So, I mean, I honestly think you put Matt Nagy in the bottom 3rd, or, I mean, you could even put him in the you can even shorten that. It doesn't even have to be the bottom 3rd. It could be the bottom 8th. It could be the bottom
Garrett
10th
New
of
York.
the league.
Garrett, New York.
Garrett's the offensive coordinator in New York.
He's not calling the plays? Oh, you're talking about head coach.
I'm talking about head coaches.
My bad.
Yeah, Joe Judge is the head coach out there.
I don't think Joe Judge is that bad, though.
Yeah, that's week 7.
Let's get some more fun.
The Bears are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Real quick before the World Series, Dez Bryant to Baltimore is confirmed. We'll see. I mean, they need a wide receiver. They need a wide receiver.
In 3 years. I'm good.
We'll figure it out. World Series is next tonight as we're talking here on Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Game 6 is tonight. It'll be Blake Snell versus Tony Gonsolin. We've got an entire series that we have to talk about, so we'll come back to Game 6 in just a little bit. One of the things that I've found crazy so far in this series is that we have 2 teams that feasibly have really great pitching rotations and bullpens. they're touted for it, especially the Rays. And the Dodgers are really good at developing their pitching talent as well. But there have been 18 total home runs in this World Series, Cub.
I know we talked about it before. I'm like this big home run World Series. You're like, it's coming into that. You said it's becoming a home run derby type series now. I'm having fun watching it, but I'm just shocked at how all these great pitchers are getting lit up.
Some people have had better series than others, and I think for the most part that it's been the bullpens that have gotten lit up the most. I think maybe for the Rays, the guy who's had the hardest time is, believe it or not, Tyler Glasnow, who is probably their best pitcher, closer
not
or
in this
otherwise,
series.
a starter or otherwise, I should say, starter relief pitcher. He's their best pitcher.
Yeah, but
Tough for him.
What he pitched Game 5, right?
He pitched.
Game 5.
He pitched 5 and 1, Game 1 and Game 5.
So watching that, he had no command. He was all over the place the entire game. But then you look at, like, if you didn't look at the 3 runs that were scored with the second and first inning, whatever it was, the rest of the game he was good. He was in a groove, and then he got lit up, and then he needed to get yanked before. He wasn't there, and it was just odd seeing him struggle because he dominated throughout the other series that he was in with the Yankees and what they played for, the Blue Jays or the Yankees. Astros. I've had a brain fart. Jesus Christ.
All good. Just out here watching you.
Yeah, shut the hell up. But honestly, out of both
study of what a brain aneurysm looks like.
Yeah, shut up. Between both teams, I think Blake Snell has had the best performance thus far for pitchers.
Between both teams?
I think so.
Okay. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. I was going to say
Kershaw.
After seeing Kershaw's second outing last night in Game 5, I think Kershaw may have bucked this monkey that's been on his back in the playoffs. First 2 games of the World Series, 11 and 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits given up, only 3 runs given up, 3 walks, and 14 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, and 1 dirty fucking hat.
Is that sweat?
I think it's a mixture of sweat. I think it's a mixture of rosin, dirt, possibly semen. Who knows?
Looks like my rug. Sorry.
Other bodily secretions.
Yeah, we'll get the black light. The thing with Kershaw is they talked about this on the broadcast. In years past, they didn't have such a dominant offense and such great bats on the team that he felt like he needed to do more, which is why he struggled in the playoffs, I feel like. And that makes a lot of sense because someone that competitive definitely has high expectations for themselves. And I think this time around, he's really taken a step back and just calmed down and did his job because he looks great.
I think for Kershaw, what it might be is, for a long time, he's been the
greatest
face at franchise, right? And while he still is, Kershaw's been there since the inception of his career. He still is the franchise centerpiece in LA. But, there are other people there now. You've got Mookie, you've got Belly, you got Dustin May. There are other faces there now, that Will Smith, that, guys that can take the pressure off of him as being the face of the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. And maybe he doesn't feel that pressure anymore, that anxiety of like going on the field and being like, I've got this entire team and the entire city of LA on my back, versus now it's like, okay, I can share that load. And maybe that's something he's learning as a player and as a leader is like, oh, like I don't have to do all of these. I can share the load with Belly, with Mookie, with Justin Turner, with Corey Seager, all of these tremendous players that he has around him. He's like, I can share this load. And I think that might be what's happening.
Yeah. And I really want to get into this right now. At the Game 5.
Well, before we switch, I've got one question.
Go ahead.
Let's say the Dodgers win the World Series.
Which they will.
Let's say they win. Because he's Kershaw, because of the narrative that he has, Does he win World Series MVP?
It's that storyline thing, so he might.
Yeah.
It's either him or Mookie.
I don't know that it would be Mookie. I think it might be Seager. Or it could even be Justin Turner.
It's actually there's a lot, but I feel like if there's a lot of offensive guys and there's just that one pitcher, I don't know. In my head, that makes more sense.
I like the storyline of Kershaw becoming the World Series MVP after being the guy that for a long time everybody just kicked around and stomped on his head when he was down, and I like that storyline a lot. So I'll root for that.
I will too.
But then Game 5.
Can we? I never understood this. Why did Margot steal home?
That's actually a really solid question.
In my knowledge of baseball, that made absolutely no sense.
Well, I can only think of a couple of reasons why. You know,
2 outs. 2 outs.
Yeah, with 2 outs, you don't want to make your last out at home.
You don't want to make it out. You don't want to make your last out at third or home.
Right. Well, and like the basic concepts of baseball tells you that was a bad decision. But you're on third. Margot has some good speed. Kershaw wasn't going from the stretch. He was going from the windup. We all know how slow that windup can be from Clayton Kershaw. So I could understand it from that level, right? And people have tried it on him before. I believe it was the World Series. Right. Somebody's bound to get it, though. And so maybe Margot thought it was a numbers thing. I highly doubt that was a decision from Kevin Cash to send him. I think that was a more freelance decision by Margot to send it home. But all the way around, it was a bad decision. But if he would have been safe, which I think he was, if you go back and you look at the replay, I think he was safe, and I think it was a bad decision to not challenge that because I don't think he got him on the arm. I think it was more a decision of did he get him on the chest?
The glove nicked his arm.
I think that they should have at least tried to challenge it, but I understand why they didn't because I believe at that time it was the 5th or 6th inning, and there's still a lot of baseball to be played, critical situations that can still rear their ugly heads.
But like you said, I think it was a bad idea. That's momentum. That's a rally right there. And
But again, on the other side of that, it's
2
momentum.
Outs. 2 outs.
On the other side of that, it's momentum, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So you lose momentum or you gain a tremendous amount of momentum because you just stole home in the World Series.
And I'm saying all the Dodgers runs have come on 2 outs. Momentum.
Right. The risk reward was not there.
No. But the reward would have been chef's kiss.
Yeah. Well, that was an interesting scenario to say the least. Dodgers win Game 5. I guess we're not going to do this chronologically. Let's walk backwards now into Game 4, where we saw maybe one of the greatest World Series games ever. A back and forth, just heavyweight fight. Knockout punches were traded. It was one of those just crazy baseball games that you love to see in the playoffs and in the World Series in general. And it was capped off by what is going to be remembered as one of the greatest comebacks, one of the greatest hits in World Series history. Now, to walk you through it, Kenley Jansen in the 9th inning to try to save the game. The Dodgers lead by 1. The Rays are just trying to scratch across 1 in the bottom of the 9th. They get runners on first and second. Randy Arozarena's your guy on first. Kiermaier's on second. Brett Phillips comes up against Kenley Jansen. Brett Phillips, a guy that I think didn't even bat over the Mendoza line this year, traded to the team from the Royals at the beginning of August, and he gets this opportunity as the last guy off the bench to go up against one of the best closers in baseball. And he hits a little flare out into right center field. Of course, the game's going to be tied. Kiermaier comes around and scores. And then Arozarena absolutely booking it around second, books it around third. Chris Taylor, the center fielder for the Dodgers, makes a doesn't make the play on the ground ball into center. It goes off his glove, away from him. Arosa Arena is rounding third, headed for home, and he trips on his helmet that fell off of his head. We're like, oh no, now it's a rundown. What's going to happen? The throw from center field, it's cut off by Muncy. Muncy throws it home to Will Smith. Smith tries to tag before he got the ball, and the Rays win in one of the most dramatic fashions I've ever seen in my life.
What was your reaction to that whole play? Like, just like bring it back, and just what did you do when you saw that?
Okay, so I'm watching the game. I had Rays money line that night, so I'm like, okay, this is a big at bat, you know. And for whatever reason in my mind, I was like, okay, this is either going to be this is going to be a home run. It's going to be a walk-off home run, and like that was like the only way the Rays could win. And then he hit that single into right center field, and I was like, oh man. Right. And I was like, and then my baseball brain woke up, my betting brain shut off, my baseball brain woke up, and I was like, they just tied the game. And then Chris Taylor bounces off his glove, and I was like, I screamed in the house. I'm like, he fucked up. He fucked up. And then I was like, Rosarena's going to score. He's coming around. He trips. I'm like, I sounded like Tony Romo in the broadcast booth. I was like, yes. That's pretty much what happened in the living room.
I was calm. I was being very pessimistic. I was like, he's going to strike out or pop out. He hits at the center. I was like, oh, I saw him miss it. I was like, oh, and then the ball goes home, and I'm like, Rosarena, no. And then he didn't have the ball, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it was a crazy moment. And one that will live in the echoes of eternity in baseball history and playoff history, a moment that we'll remember forever. We have to bring up the fact that Brett Phillips is the guy who hit that walk-off.
Brett
Who?
Phillips.
Now, Brett Phillips is a guy that I do follow on social media, and he's a fun guy and a guy that, you know, if somebody's going to hit it, he seems like a really good person to get that opportunity, have that moment, right? He just seems like a good guy. But after the game, they had to give him an IV because his heart rate was over 140, and he was having a hard time slowing down his breathing. I thought that he sounded really
calm.
No, he sounded bad. Like he sounded like out of breath and like couldn't collect his thoughts in the post-game interview. And then when he walked away from the camera kind of panned over and followed him, and he was immediately greeted by team doctors. I was like, he's hurt. Something's wrong with him.
When I read that, I was like, I'm shocked that doesn't happen more in sports.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Being so overwhelmed by such a huge accomplishment that you don't know how to calm yourself down. Like you see all the time, like Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. The Minnesota Miracle. Diggs down the sideline. Yeah. How did those moments, I think it's because he was such an unsuspecting character. He was just put into a moment and it happened. And when you think about the sports psychology behind the moment, like,
it's the biggest moment.
It's almost like saving a family from a burning building. Like you don't expect to be the guy to save somebody from a burning building, but then all of a sudden you are. You don't the same way. Brett Phillips doesn't expect to be the guy to win Game 4 of the World Series, but then all of a sudden, you know, he's thrust into this situation and he did it. And it's like, how the hell did I do this? And it's a tremendous moment. And hats off to Brett Phillips. I'm very excited for Game 6. Before we get into the Snell versus Gonsolin matchup, let me rattle off this 9-legged parlay from one of my mystery bettors that I think might have a real shot of hitting tonight. So one of my mystery bettors hit me up right before we started recording and says, "Are we doing this tonight?" And it is like I said, a 9-legged parlay of Rays money line, Arozarena to record a hit, Mookie Betts to record a hit, first inning draw, Arozarena to record 2 hits, Mookie Betts to record 2 hits, the over on 8 runs from both pitchers, Manuel Margot to record a hit, and Corey Seager to record a hit. A $5 bet on this would net $942.
Did you book it?
I'm going to once we're done here.
I'm gonna book the Blake Snell over at 5.5 strikeouts.
That might be something that I substitute instead of one of those hits.
Substitute the draw. Substitute the draw, Sauce.
Ooh.
Substitute the draw.
But if I do that, then I run away from it. I'm not about running away.
You ran away from the Cowboys. You can run away from this.
No, the Cowboys ran away from me.
No, they didn't.
It's different.
They can't even run the ball anymore. Zeke doesn't want it.
Game 6, Blake Snell versus Tony Gonsolin. In the first time around of this pitching matchup, which I believe was game 2, Snell went 4 innings and 2/3, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs on 9 strikeouts. Tony Gonsolin in that game acted as an opener, going an inning and a third with 1 hit, a run, and 1 strikeout before they turned it over to the bullpen for the rest of the game. Cub, what do you see going into this matchup?
I see Blake Snell shoving for 5-6 innings. And then my take for the night is I think the Rays win it. It goes game 7 and the Dodgers win tomorrow. That's my take for the whole World Series. But tonight, I think they get it done since Blake has been so dominant or he was dominant. Whenever was it, game 3 that he pitched?
2.
Sorry, game 2 that he pitched. I'm confident he'll get it done. But then again, the Dodgers bats have been hot.
Yeah, they have. I think when you look at this game, when you look at this matchup, statistically, over this run that the Dodgers have had, they've had a really hard time hitting left-handed pitchers. If you look at their lineup up and down, a lot of their big boppers are left-handers. Muncy, Bellinger, Seager are all left-handed hitters that struggle hitting left-handed pitching. But now, of course, they have Mookie Betts. They've had Justin Turner. Kike Hernandez has improved as a hitter.
Kike.
So there are guys on that team that can definitely do damage against Snell. But I do like Snell in this game, going about 5 innings, striking out. The under/over for his strikeouts tonight is 5.5 on FanDuel Sportsbook. So I'll take the over on that. I like him striking out about 7 in tonight's matchup. I think this is a winnable game for the Rays, but it's an elimination game, so anything can happen. I'm very interested to tune into this tonight and watch it all. But on the other side of this, Gonsolin has been used for an inning and a third in this World Series.
He's going to be an opener, yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Gonsolin go deep if he has the ability to. I mean, an inning and a third, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 strikeout is not a lot of usage. I don't know if he's been used out of the bullpen. I didn't get an opportunity to look at that. It's possible, right? But regardless, his inning usage is low. And so he's got an opportunity to go deep into this game. This is a guy who in the regular season has been in the conversation of NL Rookie of the Year. And so this guy's got real good stuff. And he can strike out a major league lineup. He can go through a major league lineup too. So I think it's going to be a tremendous matchup. I'm very excited to see it tonight. I'm hoping that this goes 7 games so that we can have that final huge moment that I think baseball deserves. But yeah, that's what I got tonight. I got Rays in game 6, and game 7 I got anything could happen.
I respect it.
Because I think Charlie Morton would start that game for the Rays. And I'm not 100% sure who would go for the Dodgers.
Wheeler?
But Wheeler?
Or Bueller?
Maybe Bueller. It would probably be Bueller for a little bit. Probably then turning it over to Dustin May, and insanity ensues. It's game 7, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm excited. Baseball's my thing. So when the World Series comes on, it's always fun to watch.
It's my thing. Hey, so we got the rest of our segments.
Yeah, so we talked about at the top of the show introducing a new segment called Struggle Bus Fake Taxi. Essentially, the premise of this is to say there are certain people throughout the week that will have ridden or are currently riding on the struggle bus, which we all know what that is. And then there are certain people throughout the week who will be riding in the fake taxi, which if you're unfamiliar with the world of pornography, the fake taxi is essentially a genre of porn where an unsuspecting person would get into a taxi that is known as the fake taxi, and inside of the fake taxi, they have fun. They have
They play cards.
yeah, exactly. They roll dice, they play checkers, they do fun stuff inside of the taxi. So we will talk about who is riding the struggle bus, which is bad, and who is riding in the fake taxi, which is good. So to start off this inaugural run through of this segment, I'll start. Struggle bus this week is the UFC. Why? Well, Fight Island on Saturday happened. They started the action at 1 in the afternoon. There were some really good fights on this ticket. Obviously, I think everybody's aware that Khabib versus Justin Gaethje was the big ticket one, but there was also Whitaker versus Cannonier, which was going to be a great fight as well. The reason why this ended up being such a monumental fuck-up for the UFC was, yes, of course, you had Khabib, who fights maybe once or twice a year, fighting at 4 p.m. on a Saturday when college football is going on, when people have shit going on, right? You know, you put the fight on then, and then after the fight, Khabib wins, fights on a broken foot, 29-0 in his professional career, defends his title. After the fight says, "This is my last fight ever." His father has recently passed away. He's never fought without his dad in attendance. And now, after this last fight, he did. And he says that's the only time ever that he wants to do that. And so Khabib, I don't even try to pronounce his last name for fear of insulting that man and him trying to beat my ass like the bears that he used to wrestle as a young child. Khabib is now done fighting in the UFC.
Sad day
so struggle
fighting.
bus, UFC.
Sad day in fighting. All right. Guess who's on this one, Sauce? I changed it.
Okay. Who's on your struggle bus?
You're looking at him.
Oh, yikes.
You're looking at him. So last week, I got back one of my midterms. The boy turned in a 500-word paper because he thought the paper was 500 words.
It was 5,000?
It was 1,500. I got a 35%. I get to redo it, and it's due on Thursday for a C max. But how? That's like so me-esque. Because you want to know why? I was talking crap to all my friends. I'm like, yeah, my midterm's only 500 words. You could S my D. And then we were like, oh, like, yeah, your life's so difficult. I get the grade back. It was 1,500 words.
Good job, buddy. All right.
Somehow I'm getting my master's degree.
That is Cubs struggle bus. We'll move on to fake taxi. So for me, riding in the fake taxi this week is Sacha Baron Cohen, who, if you are unfamiliar with his work, is the creator of Borat. He is Borat. Very nice. Great success. This past weekend, Borat 2 essentially came out. I believe he called it Borat Subsequent Movie Film, which is awesome. Watched it, super funny. I would go check it out. No free ads, but this movie was fucking awesome. But on top of that, somebody asked Donald Trump about Sacha Baron Cohen and all of the things that he does in the political world, right? Like, maybe you haven't seen before, but he had a show on Showtime where he embarrassed a couple of different people in legislature, like a representative from Georgia who he made pull down his pants and tried to get him to touch his bare ass to Sacha Baron Cohen in order to make Cohen a homo. It's a tremendous clip. It's hilarious.
He's Jewish,
what he's able. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
It's hilarious what he's able to make these people do. In the movie, he actually gets Rudy Giuliani into a really sticky situation, which is hilarious. And so they asked Donald Trump what he thinks of Mr. Cohen, and Trump said that he is a phony and he is a creep. which is funny because then Cohen responds to it. He sees all this and he says, Donald, I appreciate the free publicity for Borat. I admit I don't find you funny either, but yet the whole world laughs at you. I'm always looking for people to play racist buffoons, and you'll need a job after Inauguration Day on January 20th. Let's talk. So Sacha Baron Cohen is in the fake taxi for a number of reasons, but yeah, he's in the fake taxi.
Free publicity.
Factual.
Now, to the chef's kiss of the evening. Tinder bios.
Do you not have anybody in the fake taxi?
Oh, I thought I went. Dude, I'm off. It's Boyd, I forgot.
500 words, fake taxi.
Sorry. The dad who caught the home run in game 2 with the glove. Now let me break break this down for you. The man looks like the chef. He look not the chef's kiss of trailer park trash. He looks like the king of kings of trailer park trash because he's got this Ed Hardy-esque shirt on, cargo shorts, and a glove he's had since 1983. He's with his wife. He's getting ready for a ball. He puts his hand up in the air, catches the home run ball, grabs the ball out of his hand, and goes, I can't throw the ball back, so I'm going to chuck my glove onto the field. Chucks his glove, and Rosarina threw his glove back, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Rosarina threw the glove back. My first thought was that definitely goes against COVID social distancing because he touched it. Touch.
Yeah.
And then they interviewed the guy. He's like, I've been a diehard baseball fan since I was a kid, and you were taught as a kid that in Wrigley, if you catch an opponent's ball, you got to chuck it back. And he definitely is from Florida. That's the best way to put it.
I was going to say, you got one team from Tampa, you've got another team from LA. This guy didn't look like a constituent of either team. He wasn't wearing any sort of affiliation for either team. It really looked like he was just some dude from Texas who got his hands on World Series tickets.
I think he snuck in.
He fit the profile.
He probably snuck in.
Anything's possible.
He's like that Boston Red Sox fan that snuck into that one game this past year.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
The Kraken.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap up the show with Tinder bios. We've got a couple good ones. Cub, do you want to start today?
No. You got to go.
Okay. Let me get my affairs in order. I actually had a friend send me a Tinder bio this week, so I'm frantically searching for that through my phone.
I sent you too. I don't know what you're frantic for.
Well, when we get user-generated content, Cub, that is something that I enjoy using.
I got user-generated content
all right.
too.
Okay. Here is Jay. This is sent in from Savannah.
This is a dude?
This is a dude. This again was sent in by one of our listeners, Savannah. Jay is 26. Was 13 miles away from wherever the hell Savannah was, and so he has this to say. Whether you're looking for a man or just a plug, I don't really give a fuck. I'm pretty good at both. Yes, the little girl is my daughter. In one of his pictures, he has a photo of his young daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the little girl is my daughter. She's my entire world. No, you don't have to worry about meeting her because you won't. I love it when people on here say, IDK what I'm doing here. Like, come on. We've all lost our dignity on being on this shit. And then to top it off, he also has to say, my anthem, by the way, is See Through Me by Orbit Culture.
I have one comment. Who the hell is swiping right on this man?
That's true. At the same time, why don't we have to worry about meeting his daughter? Is she gone?
No, he's saying that you're just here for a hookup. So talk. You put yourself in a girl body.
Put myself in a girl body?
Oh, you slim, thick little thing.
No.
Oh,
No. I mean, I think that it's cute that he said that his daughter's his entire world, but at the same time, like, my daughter's my entire world, and I'm also good at being a plug. Doesn't really seem like a good match to me, and for that reason, see you later, Jay.
He's a winner. Real winner. All right. I also have a submission by a woman. So this is obviously going to be a man. This is Corey. He's 22. I'm a very horny guy. I have a constant urge to masturbate every day. I'm looking for someone to sext with. I'm going to send you his picture.
Constant urge to masturbate every day.
I'm sending you his picture so you can get a better laugh.
Okay. All right.
When I tell you
constant urge to masturbate every day.
That was all of it. And then looking for someone to sex
Oh,
with.
really?
Yes. When I tell you he looks like his bio.
Oh my God.
Doesn't he look like his bio? A creep.
Yeah, I'm a very horny guy. I have a constant urge to masturbate every day. I'm looking for someone to sext with.
He looks like Dexter if he was stretched out.
You know what? At least he's up front.
I mean, he's not looking for hookups. He just wants a text with nudes.
You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do for my guy Corey? Have you ever seen those videos on wherever where they put like somebody's knees in a bra and it looks like a set of tits?
We'll send him that.
I'll send him one of those of my own kneecaps.
He probably has a kick still, so we'll find his kick.
Yes, 1,000%. Okay, up next, I'll do another dude. This is Logan. He's 21, and he works at your heart. That's his job. So we're starting off really great. I'm from Michigan. I'm 6'3". I'm athletic.
Oh.
I'm also an alpha and a Libra. More than just a good time, I have a big personality and a big, I don't smoke. 100% chance I'll seduce you. I can romantically stimulate you or just blow your back out, or both. Whatever you prefer, honestly. Imagine getting the deepest, most passionate strokes in your life while getting choked, and then you pass out on the and then you pass out on my nice body cuddling afterwards, watching bullshit on Netflix. Like, if you don't enjoy that, like, what do you enjoy? If you want the best experience of your life, then just swipe right.
Sauce?
Yeah.
Why does this sound like me if I was a cocky asshole?
You're not a cocky asshole?
No.
Hey, man. If the first fucking sentence is, I'm 6'3", athletic, alpha, Libra. First of all, if you have to tell me you're an alpha,
you're not.
You're not.
That's like saying you're funny.
You're not.
You're not. You're not an alpha, you beta cuck.
1,000%. And then 100% chance I'll seduce you.
False.
I can romantically stimulate you or just blow your back out or both. Like, this guy's a fucking loser.
The fact that he had to say that he's hung. Who's
right? Well, again, if you have to tell me you're an alpha, you're not. If you have to tell me you have a big dick, you don't. If you have to tell me you're funny, guess what? You're not.
And if you have to tell me you know where the clit is, you don't know where it's at. It's in the butt cheeks, right? Right, Sauce?
Logan at 21 years old has a lot to learn about life and a lot to learn about just being a human being. This is creepy. Even like a dude looking at another dude's profile, this is creepy, and this dude needs to get sent to the fucking sun.
Oh my Lord! All right,
Imagine getting the deepest, most passionate strokes in your life.
I couldn't imagine. I would rather die. This is Lexiana. Hopefully that's right.
Cool.
25 Oakton Community College. If you go there, let her know I talked about her. She's this is her bio. Republican, anti-weed, anti-hookup, 5'3". I want a serious relationship. I need an alpha male. Oh, we got one for you there.
I think we might have a pairing here.
I need an alpha male who is a Republican, at least 5'11". Things are looking good. Ready to settle down, play Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo with me, tattoos, hard eyes, kissy face.
Okay.
Her Instagram, meet me live stream. It's not a sexual live stream, by the way. Why am I going to join it? Is it just
Hold on a second. She's anti-hookup, but her username on all platforms is exotic sweetheart.
She's different.
That's like screaming porn.
She's different. She's exotic.
What are you talking? Hell no.
She's different, dude. She's different.
This is either a spoof, like her whole fucking thing is a spoof, and she's just drawing in Republican dudes just to shit on them, because there's no way that some chick who decided her Instagram name would be Exotic Sweetheart.
She had to mention twice the Republicans, though. She's definitely baiting them.
I think she's a bait. I think she's like just casting that reel out there.
I think she's a master baiter.
She's got to be a master baiter, and she's trying to tackle all those Republicans. Let's think about it as if she weren't, right? Let's think about it straight up, straight down. This is exactly who Lexiana is at Oakton Community College.
She's wearing a choker. She's wearing a choker. She's not a Republican. She's
no
wearing
shot.
a choker. No.
Okay, I think we just debunked it. We just debunked it. Lexiana, we see through your bullshit.
She's a masturbator.
We see through your bullshit.
They see right through me.
But at the same time, I'm down to play Nintendo 64. It's been a long time. I'm down to play.
I'll bring a 6-pack over.
Okay, cool. And then we'll bring Tyler with, and he can do tattoos. All right, this might be the most productive Tinder bios that we've ever done.
And we might have hooked her up with someone just to piss him off.
Factual. Okay, we're going to wrap up here. This has been episode 121, which is crazy to say, of the Missed Call Podcast. Let's go over some things really quick. Make sure you follow Bustem Media. That's at BUSTEM. Bustem Media. You can book it over there. Follow them. Follow us, Call Podcast, on Instagram and on Twitter. You can follow Cub at, is it C_Marcio? 2. And then you can follow me on Twitter at Life of Sartori. On Instagram, I am Sauce Sartori. So go ahead and follow all of those accounts. We would greatly appreciate it. Like and share with your friends. Tell them about us.
And we got hoodies coming. See you later.
And we got hoodies coming. We'll see you guys.
Please leave a message at the tone. All I got is missed calls on my line, yeah. Never seen a pick up right on time, yeah. If I don't call back, leave me alone. Hey, please leave a message at the tone, yeah.